Good evening, welcome to Mitzvah. Today we have a very interesting topic, fermented cabbage. So we are going to do an actual demonstration of how fermented cabbage is done. And I have welcomed Jane Kamau, who has been a chef for a long time, to do the demonstration for us. Welcome, Jane.
Thank you, Kitanye. Hi, how everyone. Welcome to Mitzvah. I'm also part of this club. It's very enriching. And today I want to share with you my little experience about fermenting the cabbage. So my ingredients here are cabbage, a quarter cabbage, a knife, vegetable shredder. We have salt here. We have pink salt. I have a bowl and a teaspoon with 1 teaspoon of salt, which we are going to use. I have a glass of water.
Oh, what is it for?
A quarter glass of water,
Yeah.
which we are going to add into our vegetables if need be. I have a glass bowl where we are going to do our mixing and kneading. And I have a kettle here, which is going to help us for kneading the cabbage. I have a glass airtight container for storage, and it will help in the quicker fermentation of the cabbage. Then over this side, I have a basin of water and soap, because I'm going to start here. This is our first stage. I need to wash my hands.
Your hands are not clean. What do you mean?
I need to wash hands because we carry germs in our hands, and it's always good when you are handling food to have the hands clean.
And then also this maybe can interfere with the fermentation process.
Yes, and at this point I'm going to ask Tony to give a hand here instead of pouring water.
Okay, very good. Hygiene is very important for the fermentation process because you do not want the bacteria to contribute to bad bacteria to be part of the fermentation process. So it's good to make sure hygiene levels are very, very high. So yes, Jane, you can carry on. Okay, so as she gets ready to demonstrate to us what we must do, I'll tell you one of the benefits. One of the benefits of Sauerkraut, as it is called in German, or fermented cabbage, is that it transports the bacteria straight into the stomach, which does not always happen when we take other fermented products. So it's very important to know how this is done. So we continue with Jane.
So here we have our cabbage, and we don't need to wash it because the few bacteria that are here, they are very important for the initial fermentation of the cabbage. So we cut them very thin shreds, very thin. You can use the knife or you can use the vegetable shredder. They have to be very thin, because this has to give us this consistency.
Very slim slices, so that the fermentation can be quick and penetrative. Go through all the pieces that are shredded.
So, or you can use the vegetable shredder, which will give us better results.
It is very easy to get a vegetable shredder. They are available in the streets. Actually, it's just up to you and me to select the type that we want according to our budget. It's a very useful tool to have in the kitchen.
So you can see the shreds. They are very thin. And also the other thing is that they are equal. We will not have some that are big, others small. Okay, there you go. You can see. Yeah, and as I want to make use of each and everything, I'll cut this.
Yeah, times are hard. You should not waste. People who do not have food, so try to use everything that you have. Why did you choose cabbage? Can you make sour vegetables from other types of vegetables?
Yeah, you can make sour vegetables from carrots, and as well as you can also use other Other things to mix with cabbage, for example, you can use carrot. You can also use carob seeds for flavor. You can also add apples, but all these are optional. If you want it natural, just use cabbage. If you want other vegetables, you can use carrots, you can use cucumber.
But what about purple cabbage?
You can also use purple cabbage. It's also recommended. Yeah.
Very good. So we are almost done. Yes. As she finalizes, we can also consider another benefit from fermented cabbage. So one of them is that it has a lot of vitamin K. Vitamin K is good for facilitating absorption of calcium, and we all want strong bones. So you want to consider including fermented cabbage in your diet.
All right. Okay, there we go. This is our cabbage, and I have salt here. For a quarter wedge of cabbage, I've used a teaspoon of pink salt. The reason why I'm using pink salt is because it has many minerals and also other elements which are very useful for the body. Now our process is we are going to put this cabbage in layers. Put the first layer and sprinkle some salt on it. Another layer.
I guess you're doing that so that the salt is very well spread around
that is the idea. The idea
so
is
that it reaches every bit of the cabbage.
Yes, to help the equal fermentation.
Okay. And that they are all the pieces are well salted.
Yes.
Okay, very good. What about, can you use sea salt?
Yeah, you can also use sea salt. Sea salt is also recommended. You can as well use table salt, but for now the best salt is either pink salt or sea salt. Those are the best.
Also, the ordinary salt sometimes has anti-caking properties which may not be very good for the fermentation process.
Now we continue. From there, we need to knead. See the importance when we were saying we need to wash our hands. So we are going to use our hands to knead.
This is a very, very important process because you have to mix the salt very well in the cabbage. Make sure every single bit of cabbage has salt. And then also, the process is that you should be extracting juice from the cabbage. So the salt also has that role of extracting the juice from the cabbage because that is where all the magic is. Juice extraction, and then the brine is going to help the fermentation process, and it also will do something else, Jen.
Yeah, in case you don't get enough water, enough brine, now it has stopped being water. This is brine now. In case you don't get enough, you can use a quarter glass of water. Mix with a little bit of salt. Don't finish the salt. Like this is what is here. Or if you put on the salt, you can also add water because the salt inside here will be diluted by the water. And then from there, we are going to pack it. We'll pack it in this airtight container. And the water, or rather the brine inside here should cover the vegetable, should cover the cabbage to facilitate the fermentation process. So, as you can see, this water, this is our brine. It's not enough yet because it's not covering. Yeah, but then before that, before even we pack it, we need to leave it aside. And I'm going to show you a sample. Before that, let me wash my hands.
She doesn't need me now. She can do it by herself. She can wash the hands by herself.
Okay, from here, I want to show you what you do. After you are prepared up to this stage, we need to cover it as I've done here. This I did some time back, like 15 minutes ago. So you prepare it, cover it with a cloth, leave it for 15 minutes, and this is the result. You can see the brine. The brine is there, it's covering the cabbage. Yeah, so the same thing is going to happen to this. So we cover it and leave it aside for 15 minutes. Now we're in the process of packaging.
So we have switched gears now. So we are packing the smashed cabbage, the kneaded cabbage. Now it's quite mushy actually. So it's been put there. In that airtight glass bowl. These glass bowls are available in the supermarket. So it's up to you to decide how much, what size, what capacity you want. So once it's packed, make sure you empty everything because all the nutrients have been drained, well drained. They are in the brine and also in the cabbage. Okay, so we'll be in the process of packing, making sure everything is tightly packed. She'll push it using the pestle to make sure everything is emptied. And it's important to use glass containers so that there is no reaction.
Now, in the process of packaging, it's good to ensure that there's nothing left hanging on the side, because anything that is not covered by the brine can cause molds or fungal. So it's important to cover, to ensure that all the cabbage is covered. As you can see, the brine is covering the cabbage now. This is nice. Ensure there's nothing left on the side. Okay, for now there's nothing left, but just in case there's anything, we can use a food cloth. And then we cover, airtight covering. Okay, and then you leave it in
a cool, dry place.
Cool, dry place.
Away from the sunlight in order to dry. So it takes how many hours, how many weeks to get ready?
It takes 2 to 3 weeks to get ready.
Okay, very good.
And once it's ready, but every day you have to bap, because what's happening is that cabbage has a lot of gas, so it's going to release the gas. And if you don't release the gas, it might even blow up the container. So we bap the way we do to the baby. So every day you open it, release the air, and then close. Without turning, it will go. Then after 2 to 3 weeks, you can eat it as vegetables. You can add as an additional vegetable to your meals, or you can take the portion that you need, then the other one you can refrigerate and use at your own convenience. That's all, my people. Thank you very much, and see you again.
Thank you so much, Jane, for having us, for presenting to us, sharing with us your expert knowledge on cookery, and today on fermenting the sauerkraut. This is quite exotic. I don't think we have been used to doing this. I hope that, I should not be moving it. It should be kept stable so that the cabbage is always underwater. It should not be above water, because whatever comes above water will start rotting. So it's important that everything is underwater, and you keep squashing it when you open to bap it. Yeah, you bap it like a child. Release the gas, then close it again tightly. But before closing, you can ensure that there are no pieces that have escaped or that are above the water. So this is very nutritious. It also has a lot of good bacteria, like I said. And when you have good bacteria in the stomach, it also fights bad bacteria. And it's also food for good bacteria, which means that when the good bacteria is fed, you have a full filling. So therefore, this sauerkraut can also contribute to weight loss. So you try it at home. This is not one of those where there is parental advisory. Do not try this at home. This is highly recommended to try it at home. Have a lovely weekend. You have a weekend. We have a holiday on Friday, so you have enough time to practice the recipe. Thank you very much.